California Governor Gavin Newsom now says the state will not do business with Walgreens due to its position on not dispensing abortion medications. The pharmacy giant says it will provide those medications in jurisdictions where it's permissible. It seems the damage has already been done. There's a lot to unpack here. Yahoo Finance's Anjalee Khemlani has the latest for us here. You know what? Rather than start with California, I'm going to start with Walgreens.
Okay.
I'm going to flip it on its head here.
Fine.
Because what is Walgreens doing?
Okay, so here's where the story kind of got mixed. Last week, we got reports from the Kansas Attorney General who released a statement saying that Walgreens has agreed not to sell the abortion pill, one of the two abortion pills that are used, mifepristone, in Kansas. That is important because that is just Walgreens' response saying, we acknowledge your state law and that we're not going to then sell in your state because it is illegal and there was threats of lawsuits. So what Walgreens is saying is we are not selling in states where it is already illegal and where there are abortion bans. However, we are going to be applying to dispense in states where it is legal. And that includes not using mail order for those states where it is illegal. That's what Walgreens has said. And you can see it clearly. We obtained an internal memo that CEO Roz Brewer sent to employees. And it does say very clearly, we want to be clear about what our position has always been. Walgreens plans to dispense in any jurisdiction where it is legally permissible. And then saying that once they're certified by the FDA, which could take several months, by the way, they do intend to then be in those states where, again, where it's legal, but also saying that they, quote, do not dispense where it is illegal. So they're being very clear that they're just trying to follow state law. Now, here's where the issue kind of splits. Some are wondering whether or not, because the mail is under the federal jurisdiction, they could in fact go around that. That's not clear, and that's part of where some of these lawsuits come in that have been going on. And so that's the question that is still really on the table is what can be done? What options do Walgreens and CVS have when it comes to states where the abortion bans are in place and potentially going to be in place?
So it sounds like they're not trying to take a political stance, but nevertheless, that is the interpretation because we're all human here. And how does this fit into what California is doing?
So that's where California comes in. That's where Governor Newsom read the headlines, which said that Walgreens was stopping dispensing, which they already are not. So that's the first problem. But he did say, quote, that he will not do business with Walgreens or any company that cowers to the extremists and puts women's lives at risk. Now, Walgreens is like we just mentioned, not doing something. It's just, trying to follow state laws. Now, what Governor Newsom is saying is that because of that stance, because the headlines are reading that Walgreens is stopping and responded to the attorney generals in the affirmative, sounding like they were acquiescing to the threats, the governor is now going to look at all the business it does. That includes through Medi-Cal, the Medicaid insurance, as well as potentially this could affect in the long run if this does stay in place, if he makes good on the threat, the drug manufacturing business that they're trying to stand up, which is that generic drug production that California has been looking at for the past year or so. And so once that builds up, obviously they would look at the Walgreens and the CVS's of the world to be part of that distribution process. And this could affect that in the future. Now, that's where sort of the long-term view is. Now, Walgreens is not the only player in this. Obviously, we know CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Walmart, and the like, potentially even other mail order services like we know Hims and Hers and those. We haven't heard from any of these. So the question is, where do they all fit into this? How many other online pharmacies are going to be able to bypass some of these state laws if they are able to? And what the process will be there. So it's really, like we said yesterday, developing story, still a lot of time, on the table because of the FDA certification.
All right. Well, we'll be checking back in with you then.
See you tomorrow.
Anjalee Khemlani, appreciate it.